Okay, so the VRTK interactable object script is super useful. If you hover over any of these things, they will explain to you what they do as best as they can. This is a fun fact. There's a script. If you looked at this script, you could see all the tooltips here under each one of these public variables. Summary, example, summary, tooltip. So this tooltip here, this is the code that lets you hover over something and then see it. So when I hover over touch highlight color, voila. So when you put your controller inside this cube or collide with that cube, your cube will turn yellow. You could change this touch highlight color to be nothing, which would be black. You could probably change it to, no, I guess the alpha channel's off, so you can't just make it anyway. So any color you want to pick for, hey, you're in range to interact with this. Allowed touch controllers, you could say one or the other or both. In my opinion, both is probably the best idea. Occasionally we'll have things that only work on one controller. So grab options. Is it grabbable? Yes. Which button? Oh, hold the button to grab. So that's an interesting one. If you have a pistol, you don't want to have to hold down the grab the whole time that you're holding the pistol or the whole time that you're holding the sword. So you click it once. If this is turned off, you pick up the sword or the gun and you hold it until you click that button, that grab button again. Does that make sense to everyone? Mm-hmm. Okay. Stay grabbed on teleport. Same kind of thing. If you teleport and this is off, you'll drop it. Sometimes this is useful in a video game where you don't want someone to jump around a bunch with the stuff that they're holding. So I like to leave that on. I'm going to have hold button to grab on because most of the time I want to throw something. Valid drop. Determines in what situation the object can be dropped by controller grab button. Huh. That's cool.
I imagine that's similar to in the lab whenever you picked up the remote control for the
oh, sure.
thing.
Sure, you can only put down the objects back on the table. Smart. The grab override button is usually undefined. What that means is maybe you don't want to pick stuff up with the grips, you want to pick stuff up with the trigger. I know, right? Super useful.
Trigger.
I like the trigger a lot. There's a trigger hairline, so if you press down the trigger at all, if you press down the trigger a little bit, if you press it all the way, or if you click it. I had no idea that grip had pressure sensitivity, but okay. Same for touchpad, same for button 1, button 2, and the start menu press. So I can change this to trigger click, and it will pick up stuff with the trigger. Allowed grab controllers. How is that different than allowed? Oh, okay. So I can touch it with either, and then I can pick it up with either. I don't know why you would want one, but anyway, doesn't matter. Leave these on default, I think, because I don't know what they do. Is usable means that's your gun scenario. So if it's usable, you're going to pick it up and then you're going to push a different button to do stuff with it. So pull the trigger to shoot, etc., etc. If this is checked, then the use button on the controller needs to be continually held down to keep using.
Oh, yeah, I don't want that.
So you shoot until you click the button again to stop shooting. That's probably not what we want.
Oh, hold on.
That'd be like...
I think that's the difference between semi and full auto.
No. So if this is unchecked, then the use button toggles the use action. So that'd be like lightsaber on, lightsaber off. So use only if grabbed. So you can't just, turn the lightsaber on by hovering inside it. You have to pick up the lightsaber first and then turn the lightsaber on.
teleporting thing?
So no, I think it's a pointer thing that we haven't even messed with.
Oh.
If you can imagine it in like BioShock, there's a object on the table, and you have to look directly at the object to pick it up. And when you're looking at it directly, it'll say press E to use or to switch. Or like if you're in Halo, when you're looking directly at the object, that's when the box pops up to say, "Hey, you can interact with this."
Okay,
So in this case, you'd have to point your pointer at it, and so then in theory you could pick up objects from a few feet away and add them to your inventory. Use options, override button. So if I'm picking up with trigger, I'm probably going to want to change this to like touchpad press or grip click, I guess. And then allow to use controllers both. So there's touching, grabbing, and using. Now, this is how I want you to do it the first time. You can do it however you want the second time, but the first time you got to do it my way. When we have an object like this, which I totally broke, there's that. There's is grabbable. I'm going to override it with a trigger click. Override button to grip. Is usable. Okay. We are going to duplicate this object. And we are going to drag it into our assets folder, or wherever we put our prefabs. And then we're going to navigate back to the scene that we like, cockpit beta. Don't save your changes, or at least if you made changes to that scene. And then drag our prefab into the scene. How about a grenade? Perfect. That looks beautiful. So who knows if I'll use 1970s era grenades in space? I'm going to say that I am. We want to import a model that we want to interact with. Let's use something that's cube-shaped. We'll move on to swords and guns later, but for now, just a cuboid, a basketball, a grenade, something that you can pick up and throw.
Before we get too far ahead, how did you open the previous scene where you copied that cube from?
Say that again?
How did you open the previous scene where you copied that cube from?
Assets, VRTK, examples, 005.
Okay. Ooh, sci-fi. Okay.
I'm going to make this model of my grenade a child of the cube that I just drug in. I'm going to set its position as 000 and change its scale to like 10, I guess. Something that matches kind of the size of it. 20. That's better. Doesn't really match up, but I'll get it there.
Oh.
Once you have this, once everybody has this, we'll move on to the next step.
Where will this login school login, right?
You can log in with your email address, yeah.
Oh, wait. I don't think I have one set up for that.
You can log in with whatever you want.
How do I rename it? See.
So did you duplicate it?
Yeah. Oh, there we go. There you go.
Yep.
For some reason, this computer is really slow for me.
Okay. You're not running off your flash drive, right?
That's probably why.
That's definitely why.
Then again, if I actually save it onto the computer, then it'll delete by the next time it comes through. So
Just save it at the end of this class, back to your flash drive.
that's true.
You're not going to get any work done if you do it off your flash drive. The only exception where it's okay to use your flash drive to work off of is if you're in programming. If you're doing your C++ class, program away on your flash drive. You need help with your space?
Yeah.
Skybox?
I have put this Skybox in there.
Okay, once you switch over to a hard drive and open your project, let me know.
Yes, sir.
It didn't matter which one we used, right?
Not at all. That one's way better. It'll work.
I love
Same though, just in case. Even when it's just like, this turned into a prefab, we didn't cancel them. That'll be better.
I see one small problem.
Yes.
Can
Can you scale it down?
Yeah.
Do you know how to scale it down in the model?
No.
Click on this model in the asset, and then change the scale factor. 1.1 might do it. 0.01 might do it better.
Yeah.
She's looking at the heads off.
Grenade pack.
And then just get a flag down here.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. That might be too small. You might be done with it.
You would
Yeah,
use
you get the
explosive on a
Yes.
spaceship. That's so cool.
Just into the scene. Here. Yep.
Bunch of on the switch.
Yeah. No, you're okay.
Go big or go home.
Yeah, that's great. Here's our cubes, so we're going to drag WP in onto the cube. Now it's a child of it. And we can set the position to 0, 0, 0.
The pack you downloaded has like the normal explosive shrapnel grade and grenade and special grenade and voltage. I'm like, smoke grenade makes sense. This is that.
And then I set my scale to 20, 20, and 15. No, 2015. 2015.
Is it okay if I change the scale of E to match the
Let's not do that first.
No?
Let's leave that alone first. Yeah, scale your grenade up. If you guys want the transform for the grenade because you're following me, it's 20 by 15 by 20. Here's that.
And we put the cube where we're going to want people to grab it.
Yes. It's huge. Yeah, I don't. No. I mean, you can move it, closer if you want. Just make sure you're moving your cube, not your grenade. Not both, just that one. Sorry, question?
It's huge.
What's huge?
The scale.
Oh, yours? You guys might have different grenades than me. It looks like they're the same.
I mean, I definitely want to do it, but there's no.
Yeah, change to what you like. Looks like on these sides. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Is this torch your grenade? No, there's your grenade. Drag that guy onto your cube. So the child of your cube. That's what I make sure gas the child of the cube.
Yeah, I know.
That's probably why you had the issue. My cube is scaled down, so once your grenade is part of the cube, that scale of 20, 15, 20 will fit. Yeah, see how now it's 126.
Were we changing the use override button as well?
If you want.
Change the scale of that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So this is. Oh. Should think of ways to. If we can pull the pin on it. Sure. Which is that's fine.
Do you want us to turn off the renderer on the cube?
So the next step is to turn the mesh renderer off on the green cube that's interactable. We're just going to make it so that it's invisible. We're still only grabbing the cube. It just looks like, well, we can't see the cube, so it looks like we're picking up the grenade. So selecting the parent cube, no highlight on touch, and turning mesh renderer off will make it so that there's just a grenade hanging out right here. So go ahead and save your scene, build your scene, and we'll go test it out across the hall. Let's make sure this way works, and then we can affect other things.
Not build and run, stupid.
Control-Shift-B will give you what you want. Okay. I should already have this.
How do you parent each child again?
So this object here, the M26,
Yes.
just drag it onto your cube, no highlight on touch, and then you'll see that it's a child because it's moved this way.
Okay, and then turn the mesh renderer off.
On the green cube, yes.
Alright. And that's all we do?
Yep.
Okay.
Let's get your skybox.
Yeah, skybox, of course.
So if you download the, it's not an asset store, it's a web page. So we'll go ahead and open up Chrome. We'll go to HDR Labs, just Google that. Right there. And got the fifth one down on the right side. So you'll see it. Hold on. There it is. Getting that folder unzipped into your project. Yeah.
Oh, can you do it?
the spaceship? And shoot the lasers? Gonna make everyone scream? That sounds evil. Got a knock at the door. Can you get down? Can you sing in the shower? Einstein, are we in trouble?